Hello lovely people, this is Mario and you're watching Just Like Paradise. What I'll do in this video is just kind of go over the trip, the cost, and any little tidbits of information. My trip from SFO in San Francisco to Bangkok, what I kind of encountered, any trouble, anything you might and should know, and if you're planning on coming to Thailand, which I suspect you do if you're watching this video. So check it out. Hope you like it. The building that you're seeing right there is like my favorite building in the world. So pretty. It's the King Power Tower. It's awesome, and you can go to the very top of it. It used to be the tallest sky bar and observation tower in Bangkok about 2 years ago. So the whole idea of me coming here is to live here for 6 to 9 months. What's required right now, if you're vaccinated or non-vaccinated, is a Thai Pass. Link down below. Thai Pass, basically, you fill everything out. There'll be some PDF files that you're gonna need to download or upload. That's that. Now, as an American, you can come into Thailand currently, and I believe it's 45 days. With vaccinated, you only have to do it one day, one night. I think it's called Test and Go. The flight that I paid for was under $900. And the reason I say under $900 is because initially I paid $825.19. I was supposed to leave November 1st. They changed it to October 25th or something like that. And I changed it to the end of November. And I had to pay an extra $65 for my seats. The plane was packed from SFO to Hong Kong. It was empty from Hong Kong, Bangkok. So that should kind of give you an idea that people are not flocking to Bangkok. Now, the problem that I had, and by the way, these are all US numbers, we'll say that in Thai it was 27,253.85 at the time that I purchased. There's different packages you can do depending on what hotel. Some send you to the hospital for the test, and then they take you to the hotel. Some of them pick you up at the airport with 5 people in the van, some people or whatever vehicle, and some just by yourself, and there's an additional charge. So the ASQ hotel for me was 10 days, and it came to $1,120.28, which is 37,000 baht. And how that works is you get picked up at the airport, whisked to the hotel, take you through the back way in the garage, and then you go to a certain floor, and there's a nurse there and a representative of the hotel, as well as a security guy who's a bellboy, I guess, or whatever. Basically, do a RT-PCR test, which is like a little bristly thing that kind of just put halfway into your nostril, kind of like where the bone is, and they kind of swirl it around, and you're good to go. Now, I'm getting ahead of myself. Before you get on the flight, within 72 hours, you have to get a negative COVID RT-PCR test, which is what I just mentioned. Nevertheless, that was the easiest part. Also required is insurance. Now, I paid insurance out of the United States just because I was rushing to get everything done, and I probably could have got it cheaper, but I got it for 90 days. So my insurance for 90 days was $342.90. The visa, I wanted to get the special tourist visa, which is a 90-day visa. They hadn't updated the website yet, and I kind of told them that's what I wanted. They gave me a 60-day. I will have to deal with that later, and I'll get into that in another time. And then the scam of the century, PCR test for a 24-hour turnaround, and it basically took, I think, 6 hours, is $150. So altogether, and that's 49.5411 baht. The visa was $40, it's 1,321.10, and insurance $342.90 comes to 11,325.08 baht. So a total of $2,478.37. Oh, excuse me, plus the $65 for my seat. So it's $25,43.37. And in Thai baht, it came to 81,854.04 baht. On that note, to give you some sort of reference, prior to this shenanigans that we are in, I came to Thailand in 2017, November 2017, and it cost me $200 for my visa and $800 and something, $850 I think for the flight. So at the time, it was probably close to $1,050 maybe back then. And we're looking at 25, 40, 337. And the big chunk of that is the ASQ quarantine hotel, and insurance would be the next one. I mean, the flight, you gotta fly here. So my trip. So the trip went like this. Everything that I did was digital. So like I got my PCR test was digital. My visa was digital. There's no stamp. It's stamp on arrival, they call it. So the visa, the Thailand pass, everything that was a QR code, everything is digital. What I did, and I would suggest you do the same because of the horrendous time I had at SFO, is make copies. Making copies. And make sure what I did wrong, or not wrong because I was never asked to do it, but I should have done it, and I'm telling you to do it because it will save you time, is get a picture of the paid reservation for the hotel. This is what's weird. You have to put all this stuff into the website to get your Thailand pass. Or even to get your visa. So you wouldn't have gotten the visa or the Thailand pass if you didn't have all this information. The airline wants to check again, and they go through it pretty thorough. And I'm assuming it's some sort of liability thing, but they told me that Thailand gave them 20 pages of different variations of different things, and it was confusing. I was told that I couldn't come into Thailand without a vaccination, and I basically sternly said, "You're wrong. You better check that." So I was in line for 1 hour and a half. So I got to the airport like I was supposed to, 5 hours before flight. I was there in line, and there might have been 7 people ahead of me, 10 at the most in front of me when I got in line. And when I got to the front counter, I was there for at least an hour. It was a hassle. Everything after that was perfect. I mean, it was easy peasy, nice and easy. So I get through TSA. I paid a little extra money to get the TSA pass, so I don't have to take off my shoes, my belt, take out my computer, all that stuff. It's pretty much a less than 5-minute ordeal. I think it only took me 2 minutes. I'm at the airport and I'm waiting 3 hours for flight. I get on the flight. It was a 16-hour flight. Got to Hong Kong. Everything was fine. Walked about 5 minutes. It wasn't that far. I've walked further in Singapore. It seemed like there was football fields I was walking. This one was a little easier. You go in and it's a biometric scan. So it scans your passport, and then doors open. And then you go to the next station, you scan your ticket barcode, and then you take your mask down and it takes a picture of you, and now you are the property of the Chinese government. And then you get out of the line and you get into the x-ray machine. I did have to take out my laptop, but that was it. So as soon as I got out, there was a 3-hour layover, and it was nothing. I mean, I literally had to walk right to the plane. And as I walked to the plane, I walked right onto the plane. And, I had to walk a pretty good distance. But again, nothing extravagant, nothing terrible. Got onto the airline, the flight. And by the way, it was Cathay Pacific is who I took, which I give high regard. The food was phenomenal, and the service was great and smooth sailing. So, empty flight, got all the way to Bangkok. It was a 3-hour flight, uneventful. We landed, got off, walked a ways. Now, it wasn't as congested as it was in Hong Kong. It was like nothing. It's like just kind of like there might have been, I don't know, if there's 500 people on the plane, there might have been 100. I mean, 500 seated, it might be 100, and I could look it up, but I'm too lazy to do that, and probably you don't care anyway. We had to go through a little gauntlet first. There's these lines of chairs. I don't know if you've seen them on, in pictures. Basically, there's this big line of chairs, and you get your paperwork out, everything, and get it ready, and walk up to the gatekeepers, and you hand them the paperwork, they scan it. Okay, so then once you get through that, then you go to immigration. And even though there's a form, I think it's called the T60 or something like that. They give it to you when you get off the plane. I was told to do it digitally. I did it digitally. I got the pass. The gauntlet let me through, but then when I got to immigration, they had me fill it out, a piece of paper. They love paper here, so whatever. I did it. Walked up. Within 10 minutes, I was through immigration with my stamp. Walked over to pick up my luggage. It was already on the carousel. Walked outside. Found my. They have kind of a line of different hotels, and I went to the one. I mentioned my name. They walked me out. Within 3 minutes, the limo came up. And when I say limo, I don't mean like an American limo, but I mean a, you know, long wheelbase BMW, what you would expect out of a 5-star hotel, which, by the way, I'm at the Pullman G Silom. Really happy, and I'll do a little kind of a video on that as well. I highly recommend them if you are True Blood. Everything's so weird, man. It's like below me, there's like little tiny buildings in between huge high rises, and it's not like planned out. It's kind of sort of like old and new mix. I kind of dig it. It's kind of an industrial, modern, it's weird. Okay, back to what I was saying. I get whisked. Okay, so we go up into the elevator. I get my PCR test. I talk to a young lady. She kind of tells me all the rules and regulations and what's going on, and I fill out my menu. So I get a menu 3 meals a day in the hotel. And by the way, the food is excellent here. I'm pretty the first day was a little sketch, but not really. I mean, it just, I don't know, 5-star cafeteria food maybe. It's not like they're bringing it down from their you know, high-end restaurant that they have here. Damn good. Okay, so then we took an elevator. It looked like a, you know, like industrial elevator, like they would bring packages and stuff, supplies. I think I'm in a wing that's kind of like the older wing maybe. It's not, I'm pretty sure I'm not in the high-class part of the hotel, but again, it's a very comfortable room. I'm pretty happy. Within, I think by 6 o'clock, I got the okay that I got the negative result, and that I was able to go out 45 minutes a day. That's about it. So I've been here for 27 hours, and I got to catch up with some friends and family, and yeah, so far so good, guys. So thanks for sticking it this far. Sticking with it this far. I appreciate you watching. Please continue to watch and support the channel by clicking that like button, and if you want to be notified, hit that little bell, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace out.